Hi, this is Jenny Brav of Radiant Wholeness Healing, and today we're going to be exploring the fear of public speaking. I know that for me as a writer, expressing myself orally is not my native way of expressing myself. It's much easier for me to do it in writing, and so I really had to work through some of the difficulties, both processing things. It gets worse when I'm put on the spot, and then it can be exacerbated by fight or flight responses. And it was definitely something that I had to work through to even have a YouTube channel. And there can be lots of reasons why people are afraid of speaking publicly. Sometimes it's past issues of feeling shamed or humiliated. Sometimes it's within the family. It can be at school with other kids. It can also be an ancestral legacy that we've inherited from our parents or our lineage that might not even be from our own childhood experiences. For some people, it's just in groups. For other people, it's if they're having to speak spontaneously. Sometimes it's even speaking to a few people. And it can bring up a lot of physiological responses. Sometimes it's more the anticipation of public speaking that is stressful. And then in the moment, it can be easier. So, whatever it might be that brought you here today, know that you're not alone. This is one of the number one fears for people. And we'll start feeling into what might come up for you through some tapping and release some of the direness around it. So I invite you to close your eyes. Bringing up the idea of speaking publicly. Again, it might be with a few people and groups, socially, large groups. Might be things that you have to prepare for or speaking spontaneously. And when you bring it up, just noticing what happens in your body. If any place gets tight, contracted, what happens to your breathing? Any thoughts about yourself or beliefs about yourself and or the world that might come up? And also inviting in any memories or age ranges that might be associated with this fear. And it might not even be specifically around public speaking, but it might be around making a mistake or getting it wrong or being visible or learning that it wasn't safe to be too visible, to be heard in some way. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, or you can keep them closed, whatever feels good. Tapping along with me, repeating out loud or in your head, modifying the words as needed when you repeat them back. Even though I have this fear of public speaking. And it's interfering with my social life or my work. And feel free to add any way that it might be impacting you right now. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. deeply and completely. This fear of public speaking inside of the eyebrows. I feel you. Outside of the eyes, I acknowledge you. Under the eyes, even thinking about public speaking makes me nervous. Under and above the lips, breathe. I acknowledge the parts of me that get so scared. Under the collarbone, of making a mistake. Middle of the sternum, of being seen and heard. Breathe. Ribs. Of not being enough. Side of the body. Of shame. Wrist. The possibility of being judged. Other wrist. Breathe. And I acknowledge the part of me that goes into fight or flight. Tapping all over the head, that makes everything worse. Inside of the eyebrows, because then I disconnect from my cognitive brain. Outside of the eyes, breathe. Can't think of my words. Under and above the lips, which makes the fear spike the next time around. Deep breath. Under the collarbone, and it's possible I can interrupt this cycle. Middle of the sternum. It's possible it's safe for me to be seen and heard. Ribs. Possible it's okay for me to make mistakes. Side of the body. That it's enough to show up. Wrist. And even if I were to fumble, other wrist. Freeze. Up all over the head. Even if someone were to judge me, inside of the eyebrows, it's possible that has no bearing on my worth. Outside of the eyes, I can handle it. Under the eyes, work through it. Under and above the lips, deep breath. But I'll be okay. Under the collarbone, it's possible that the most important thing, middle of the sternum, is not getting it right. Ribs, I'm not here to prove my worth. Side of the body. Most important thing is just connecting. Wrist. Other wrist, just showing up. All over the head. I'm here to be seen and heard. Inside of the eyebrows, to shine my light outside of the eyes. To try new things and learn as I do. Under the eyes, that's the only way to grow. Under and above the lips, this is not a test of my worth. Under the collarbone, it's possible this can even be fun. Middle of the sternum, or at the very least, not torture. Ribs. I'm healing all the younger parts, side of the body, and any ancestors. Wrist. You got the message that it wasn't safe to be seen or heard. Other wrist. Tapping all over the head. Who learned to be hypervigilant. Inside of the eyebrows. Try to avoid mistakes outside of the eyes. And I acknowledge any energy of shame, embarrassment under the eyes associated with speaking, under and above the lips with being seen or heard. Under the collarbone, and I'm open to releasing that. Deep breath. And I invite you to hold out in front of you any beliefs, any fears, and old energy wounds that might be associated with this. And just stacking those. And just nodding to them, nodding to any young parts that learned that it wasn't safe to be too visible, nodding to any of those coping strategies that helped either you or your ancestors survive, either of perfectionism or hypervigilance, fight or flight, invisibility, and then releasing them into energy and light, releasing any cords that are tying you to those wounds and beliefs, including the belief of not being enough, any school trauma, any difficulty around peers. Just releasing it all to energy and light. And calling back through your crown, full permission to show up as you are, to make mistakes, to be seen, heard, to shine your light. And then closing your eyes and inviting in a version of you who is just grounded, able to show up in the moment without anticipatory worrying. Or trusting that whatever preparation you've done is enough. It's connected to the joy of connecting rather than to the right, wrong fears. And if this version of you is accessible, maybe merging with them and really feeling what that's like in your body. Bringing in more breath and feeling the spreading in your bones and the cells of your body, lighting up your skin, radiating out in your energy field. And when you're ready, tapping all over your body, shaking it out, touching something grounding. And thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, all the information is down below. I have 30-minute free consultations, and I work a lot with anxiety and different types of fears and fight or flight activation. Thank you so much.